Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the WD Broadcasting Network. Tonight we are at the Watkins Glen International for the first time in Leave the Pack iRacing League history. We are going to be on a road course. Right now, qualifying taking place. Everybody getting their qualifying laps in. Kyle St. Jean coming around to get the white flag. Here in the ARCA cars, the first time, like I mentioned, that we have taken these drivers to a road course in the series, or in the league's 2-year history, just about. And St. Jean tagged the wall there in turn number 1, lap number 2, so he's going to forfeit that lap. Brian Grable goes down into turns 1 and 2 for his second lap. We'll get the qualifying times up on the left side of the screen for you. Right now, Brandon Atkinson quick time with a 1:10.899. Adam Fulford just off of that time. Fulford working his second lap right now. Both of those two working lap number 2. Pretty close throughout your top 3. Only a couple of tenths separating them. Brandon Elvis in the 4 machine. Back with the Grand National Series. Last time he raced with us, he picked up the victory. That was back at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. Haven't seen him in a couple of weeks. But Brandon back with us here tonight. Going to try to pick up some speed on lap number 2. Currently 11th on the board. And Elvis going to stay in that 11th spot. Tommy Reynolds, his second lap time, jumps up to the top spot, a 1:10.74, so just a little bit quicker than Brandon Atkinson. And he will take that top spot. I think that's going to do it for qualifying. Everybody just about finished up. Carter Hollingsworth elected to forfeit his qualifying run, but he is going to get some practice laps in here. Like a lot of these guys probably would like to do. Look at the track here tonight. If you've watched NASCAR racing before, you probably have seen the Watkins Glen International. At some point, we're running the Cup layout here. So we do not go into the boot section. But it's going to be a fun race. I decided to give these guys a more simple road course to go to as the first one and leave the pack, and they're going to be lugging the ARCA car around, so it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge as well. As we are just about ready to go racing. They've got 40 laps the distance here tonight, and they will have to make a pit stop. There are no caution flags here this evening. They're going to go 40 laps straight. We are going to watch and see who can tackle Watkins Glen International. Let's look at our starting lineup. Starting on the pole, making, I believe, his second start with the Leave the Pack iRacing League. This is Tommy Reynolds in the 48 machine to his outside. Brandon Atkinson in the number 15. Brandon currently sitting 11th in the point standings. Missed a week with the Grand National Series, but going to start second here tonight. In the 3rd spot, winner at Phoenix this season, Adam Fulford in the number 71. He will start alongside Bren Roberts in the number 17 machine, making his Leave the Pack iRacing League debut. Row number 3 on the left side is going to be Brian Grable in the 22. And Jeremy, I'm going to try one more time. Brolt? Something like that. Sorry, Jeremy. You're going to have to get with me after the race. But Connor Knowlton going to roll off from the 4th row inside in the 24 machine, making his return to the Grand National Series. We haven't seen him in a couple of weeks. So good to see Knowlton back. He will start alongside your points leader, Dylan Connor, winner last week at Hickory. Him and Carter Hollingsworth had a little bit of contact. It came down to the wire. Connor going to start from the 8th spot here tonight. In the 9th position, it will be Gavin Gardner in the number 55. And then to his outside, the 555, Kyle St. Jean, starting 10th. Row number 6 on the left side, or right side, I guess, will be Brandon Elvis in the number 4. And alongside him is going to be the number 19 of Chris Shepard. Looking further back, Dale Markowski going to start in the 13th spot, next to the 222 machine of Jeremiah Woods. Going to roll off 14th. 15th spot going to be Zach Murphy in the 29, the final car in qualifying. And then back behind him, Carter Hollingsworth, Steven Choate, Justin Coleman, and Logan Drumheller, all without a qualifying time, but I think they all made the grid with the exception of Drumheller. So 18 cars going to be bringing us to the green. This is the first time we have ran a road course here in the Leave the Pack iRacing League. This is going to be a fun one. It's going to be fun to watch these guys turn left and right. Something we don't see them do very often. A couple of these guys do have some prior road course experience on iRacing. I know Brian Grable and myself ran the 24 Hours of Daytona this year. A few other drivers have participated in endurance events like that as well. And there's a lot of weekly stuff that you can run on the road course side, so I'm sure everybody's at least had some experience turning the car to the right, but probably not as much as they would have liked to have had coming into tonight's event. This is going to be a fun one. We're about to unleash them down into turns 1 and 2. The initial start here going to be on the iRacing green flag, so Reynolds going to have to wait for the green to fly. And he will lead Brandon Atkinson and the rest of the field down into turns 1 and 2. You can see the marbles on the outside of the racetrack not really cleaned off just yet to be running double file, but as we head through turn number 7, the green flag is out and we are underway here at Watkins Glen. Field heads down into turn number 1. A couple cars going in there. And oh, one car makes contact. That was Adam Fulford in the 71. I think he's maybe got tagged. But one of the bigger losers there was Jeremy Broll in the 74 and Dylan Connor in the 91. Connor goes around from the get-go. He's going to have a long way to work back up through the front. We look back up. Connor Knowlton, biggest mover so far, into the 2nd spot as we work our way down into the carousel. We got a 5-car breakaway out front. Back behind him, Brian Grable, Adam Fulford. They were 3 wide there momentarily. Heading down into turn number 6. Kyle St. Jean with a big lunge to the inside, jumps it up over the curb. That is for the 8th spot on the racetrack. Brian Grable going to try to switch up. We will get the tower up on the left side of our screen as we come back to complete lap number 1. It's Tommy Reynolds. We've got a pass for the 3rd spot, it looks like. Gavin Gardner to the inside of Bren Roberts. And let's take a look back at what happened down into turns 1 and 2. Looked like Adam Fulford in the 71 may have gotten tagged. Watch the 71 of Fulford. He's got Knowlton to his inside, and then Gardner puts his nose in there late, and Fulford gets into the 74. He goes around. He is way behind the 8 ball. Had to get that car looped all the way back around, and then I think had a little bit of trouble getting it spun all the way around. As you can see, as that happened, everybody left him in the dust. As Brandon Elvis trying to make the move on Adam Fulford. This is for the 6th spot. Little ways behind Brandon Atkinson in the 5th position. Kyle St. Jean looks underneath Brian Grable. A big send right there, and St. Jean goes around. He gets it pointed back in the right direction. He's going to bring it pit side. Damage on the right front of that race car. And St. Jean going to be the first to bring it to pit road. Actually, it was the 74 of Jeremy Brull. Out front, Tommy Reynolds continues to hold the race lead over Connor Knowlton by about a second. Gavin Gardner back behind him, sitting in the third spot. And right now at this point in the race, you're just trying to find your rhythm. You're not pushing too hard, but you don't want to lose sight of the guy in front of you as well. You do still have to make a pit stop. I'm thinking we're going to see pit stops, or the pit window open around lap 20 to 28 in that range. As Brian Grable gets by Brandon Elvis, that is for the 7th spot on the racetrack. A little bit further back behind him, Dylan Connor was involved in that turn 1 incident. Had to get that car looped back around. Lost a ton of ground, already back up to the 11th spot. Started 8th. So he's making quick progress here, trying to get back through the field, but definitely not the way he wanted to start this one. Connor Knowlton and Gavin Gardner have pulled away from Bren Roberts and Brandon Atkinson just a little bit as we watch the field head down into the bus stop. How about this driver right here, Carter Hollingsworth? Started out back, did not get a qualifying time in, already up into the top 10, trying to work his way forward and avoid all the chaos that happens around him. Tommy Roberts out of the final corner. You saw Gavin Gardner scrape the outside wall there. We're going to get the track map up on screen for you guys so you can see where your favorite driver is. Where their car number is. You can see Tommy Reynolds pulling ahead of Gavin Gardner. Not sure what happened to Connor Knowlton, if there was a spin or if he just had a moment there, but he lost the 2nd spot to Gavin Gardner. And Gardner's about 3.5 seconds behind Tommy Reynolds. Reynolds starting to get things figured out in that 48. Brandon Atkinson creeping up on the back bumper of Connor Knowlton, trying to take away the 3rd spot. Atkinson, we ran some practice last night. He was not very confident in that 15 machine coming into this evening. Right now, it looks like he's got a good piece, but Carter Hollingsworth in the 28 loops around on the exit of the carousel, gets that car figured back out, but a lot of damage on the rear end of that race car. Tough break, and he's going to have trouble again. We'll watch what happened to the 28. It was exiting the carousel here. I think just got a little bit sideways, and oh man, vicious impact. All the way on the other side of the barrier. And that is going to bring the day to an end for the 28 of Hollingsworth. He was having a good run up inside the top 10, but comes to a premature close. Reynolds continues to open up that lead as we see Brandon Atkinson get up to the 3rd spot. Knowlton passes Bren Roberts as well. And now here comes your winner from Phoenix, Adam Fulford, trying to break his way into the top 5. Fulford started up in the 3rd spot. Made a little contact with Gavin Gardner down into turns 1 and 2. trying to fight his way back forward. You can see he was a little bit quicker than Tommy Reynolds that last lap, trying to get that car using a lot of curb. You can really drive the car up onto the curb here at Watkins Glen. The curbs are designed flat to where you can use up a lot of them. You can see him drive right up over the curb right there. Fulford using up every bit of racetrack that he can to try and track down Bren Roberts here for that 5th spot. And they both simultaneously reel in 24 of Connor Knowlton as well. Here comes Adam Fulford with a look to the inside underneath Bren Roberts. That's for 5th. 71 having a little bit of trouble getting the power down on that inside lane, but Roberts going to give the spot right there. Saw the run that the 71 had and did not want to hold him up. Move Adam Fulford up to the 5th spot. Up front, though, Brandon Atkinson starting to turn it up. And the number 15 got down into the 10-second bracket right there. Or 1 minute, 10-second bracket, I should say. Running in that 3rd spot. Trying to track down Gavin Gardner, who's about 2 seconds up the road. We've got 15 cars running on the racetrack this current moment. Reynolds is your race leader, who holds a 4-second advantage over Gavin Gardner. Gonna have to be one on pit road, seems like. Reynolds gonna have to execute that pit stop perfectly. Adam Fulford in the 71, getting closer to the back bumper of Connor Knowlton. Fulford on his back bumper right there. He's been really good on the entries of the corner. He's been able to get that car in a little bit deeper than everybody else. We'll see if he takes a peek down into turn number 6. Thought about it right there, but Knowlton going to shut the door. As these two battle, here comes Brian Grable starting to reel in Bren Roberts. He's closing in on the top 5. Grable started in the 5th spot. I think things got a little bit hectic down into turn number 1. Fulford in the 71, getting closer to the back bumper. Just hasn't quite been able to make the move on Connor Knowlton just yet. And they're not entirely out of touch of Brandon Atkinson. They can see him up there in front of them, but he is tracking down Gavin Gardner. The gap was about 2.5 seconds. It now sits right about 2 seconds. As that last time, Atkinson able to cut out quite a bit of time out of both Gavin Gardner and your race leader, Tommy Reynolds. Reynolds leads by 4.2 seconds, but 30 laps to go. That's still 30 minutes at least. Do the math, it's actually about 40 minutes. So still a long way to go in this one. Gardner in the second spot, trying to pick up what I believe would be his first Leave the Pack iRacing League victory. I want to fact check myself here. But yes, Gardner still looking for that first Leave the Pack win. Would love to be the winner of the only road course race in Leave the Pack history. He's trying to track down Tommy Reynolds. But Reynolds setting a good pace. First time we've seen that gap under 4 seconds, though. Gardner cut out quite a bit right there. Reynolds might be starting to back off the pace just a little bit. Wants to save some of the tire in that race car. But at this moment, we're about 10 laps shy of the pit window opening up. You can pit before halfway, but I don't think anybody necessarily will. It would be pushing the fuel there at the end. There's 29 laps to go. When they come back this time, it will be 28 laps to go. But we continue to watch this battle heat up for the 4th spot. Connor Knowlton right there on Adam Fulford's front bumper. Fulford going to look to the inside down into turn number 6, and Fulford going to throw a little bit of a slide job there. Connor Knowlton crosses it back over. And Knowlton with a big shot down into turn number 7. Loses the front bumper there. And now back out in front of Adam Fulford down into turn number 1. We'll see how the 24 car handles without that front bumper. But things are heating up here at Watkins Glen. As now we've got a car down pit road. First driver on pit road, Stephen Choate in the number 72. See if he gets his service done. Connor Knowlton bringing it pit side as well. Adam Fulford going to follow. And there may have been more contact after the fact with them too. I think we may have missed something that happened there. I want to watch back one more time. Oh, and it looks like Knowlton lost it in the middle of the straightaway. Oh, no. And they both had to reset the cars. Tough break. You can see clips the grass right about there, grabs the wall, and overcorrected that car. Brian Grable had to check up to avoid. And right before pit stops, I was thinking maybe they were coming in for pit stop cycles right there, but that's really going to throw a wrench into things. Your top 3 have broken away to a 15-second lead over Bren Roberts, who currently sits in the 4th spot. Was able to get around Brian Grable after that shunt in the S's. Tommy Reynolds continues to show the way. 26 to go this time around. But look back behind him. The gaps to he and Brandon Atkinson, or the gaps to Gavin Gardner and Brandon Atkinson, we'll try that again, are getting smaller. They were at 1.4 in 6 seconds. Gardner has gotten that lead down to 3.2, so we could see things heat up. We are still shy of halfway. This time by, we will be 15 laps in, and we will have 25 to go. This is where the pit window opens up. I think these guys can make 26 laps if they really stretch it on fuel. We'll have to see if anybody tries to make any bold strategy calls. Gardner that last time, once again, just a little bit quicker than Tommy Reynolds. As down pit road, first driver to bring the machine pit side, Dylan Connor, your points leader. Going to try to shake things up. He brings it pit side. He's going to get tires and fuel on that car. It looks like it will be 4 tires and fuel for the number 91 of Dylan Connor. So we will see where he comes out. He'll be in front of Tommy Reynolds, your race leader. But he's going to have to make up quite a bit of time. Reynolds down into 1. The gap was under 2 seconds there, but Gavin Gardner almost spun it out, and he's going to lose a ton of time in turn number 1. 7 seconds now, the gap to Tommy Reynolds. And Reynolds can now begin to breathe a little bit. But Brandon Atkinson in the 15 has brought that machine pit side. Going to try to undercut this pit stop. And he is the first of the drivers in the top 5 to come down pit road. I believe Dylan Connor was just outside of the top 5 when he brought it pit side. We'll see if Atkinson can gain any ground on Tommy Reynolds here. Gonna have to kick it down here and see if he can pick up any time, and then he'll have to hold him off. Brandon Elvis reeling in Brian Grable for the 4th spot. Elvis currently sitting in the 5th spot. Haven't talked about him much tonight. Started in the 11th position. He's been slowly working his way forward. Now Zach Murphy brings the 29 to pit road for his pit stop. Your top 6 cars have all not pit just yet. We see Brandon Elvis get around Brian Grable. He'll take the 4th spot away before the pit cycle. I think Grable may be fighting something with that race car. That contact may have hurt the handling in the front end just a little bit. The 22 car has not looked the same since. Now Gavin Gardner heads to pit road in the 55. They'll all try to bring Tommy Reynolds down pit road. Brandon Elvis and Brian Grable also heading to pit road. They'll bring Jeremiah Woods with them. So most of the drivers now have made their pit stop. Chris Shepard, Dale Markowski, and Tommy Reynolds, the 3 that have not came to pit road just yet. And now look at that. Brandon Atkinson able to pass Gavin Gardner on the pit road. Now Atkinson 37 seconds back. We'll have to see where Tommy Reynolds comes out of the pits. That 15 machine Has had a lot of speed. But here comes Tommy Reynolds to pit road. I think if the 15 of Atkinson can hurry here, he may be able to just beat him out of the pits. Here comes Atkinson down into turn number 6. Remember, he's got to get down the long front straightaway and through turns 1 and 2. So here comes Atkinson down the front stretch. Tommy Reynolds, the tires are going down, and here comes Tommy Reynolds out of the pits. Brandon Atkinson through turns 1 and 2. We're going to have a battle for the race lead here. Tommy Reynolds and Brandon Atkinson suddenly are right on top of each other, and that is going to be for the top spot. Remember, Reynolds is on his warm-up lap here, his out lap. Atkinson's up to speed. What can Brandon Atkinson do? Can he make the pass? Atkinson thinking about it into the bus stop here. Going to look underneath. Tommy Reynolds, Atkinson, big send down into the bus stop, and he will take what will be the race lead once Bren Roberts makes his pit stop. Give the top spot to Brandon Atkinson. He tried the undercut there and was able to make up the time and take the race lead away from Tommy Reynolds. The question now is, does Tommy Reynolds have enough to take that spot back? Remember, Atkinson is going to have about a lap or two more on his tires. What can Tommy Reynolds do with those fresh General tires? Try to get back by the 15. We are halfway into this one. Halfway home. 20 laps in, 20 to go. We've got a new battle for that race lead. Bren Roberts in the 17 trying to stretch that out as long as he can. Trying to have the freshest tires to the end of the race. But he'll have a lot of time that he's going to have to make up here. But Tommy Reynolds and Brandon Atkinson, drivers that everybody is keeping an eye on here. Atkinson opened it up a little bit there, coming out of the S's. Brandon Atkinson looking for his first win this season in the ARCA Series. It's been a long time since we've seen the 15 in Leave the Pack victory lane. He was your Grand National Champion at the Hickory Motor Speedway earlier this year. Or last year. Time flies. But Atkinson has officially taken the race lead as Bren Roberts brings the 17 to pit road. We'll see where he is able to shake out once pit stops are completed. Dylan Connor, your points leader, up into the top 5. And talking to him last week, he just wanted to survive this week, be able to have a good run without having too much pressure. And right now doing a good job sitting in the 5th spot. But up front, Brandon Atkinson is taking the race lead. And now is starting to put it on Tommy Reynolds there, but a little sideways is the 15. Takes only a couple mistakes like that to allow Tommy Reynolds to sneak right back up into view. You saw leaving the carousel, that difference was a second. And midway down that straightaway right there, down to 0.7 of a second. So 0.3 Brandon Atkinson lost just from that little bobble off the corner. He's going to have to be perfect these final 18 laps if he wants to pick up the victory here at Watkins Glen. $18 to go for Atkinson, who leads over Tommy Reynolds. Gavin Gardner sits in the 3rd spot back behind him. And as these two are right up on top of each other battling, putting pressure on one another, Gavin Gardner is starting to close that gap just a little bit. He was faster that last time around. We'll see if that 55 can make his presence known here before this thing's all said and done. But up the road in front of him, we have got a barn burner heating up for the race lead. Tommy Reynolds is right there on the back bumper, and if Brandon Atkinson can hold him off all 18 laps of this one, I'd be pretty darn impressed. He may have a little bit more pace than Reynolds, but having somebody hounding your back bumper, it's more of a mental game at this point for Brandon Atkinson. Just trying to stay focused, hit his marks, not overshoot the corner. You got to remember, these guys do not run road courses very frequently. These are oval track guys attempting a road course for the first time. Atkinson doing a good job just maintaining that gap. He doesn't want to push too hard because he doesn't want to overheat the tires, but he definitely doesn't want to save too much. You do not want to let the 48 of Tommy Reynolds have a chance. He's been very quick so far this race. Reynolds slipped up a little bit there. Lost some time. And Brandon Atkinson starting to pick up the pace here. 16 laps to go across the stripe that time. The gap, the biggest we have seen it to Tommy Reynolds in the 48. Is Reynolds maybe saving something for the end of this one, or has he lost some of that pace that he had in the beginning? We'll have to find out. But last time by, Gavin Gardner in the 55, a little bit quicker than Reynolds. Atkinson quicker than both of them. Actually, the fastest car on the racetrack was the driver in the 4th spot, Bren Roberts. Currently in the 4th spot. Atkinson continues to show the way. He was 0.3 of a second quicker than Tommy Reynolds that last time. And Reynolds starting to lose some of that pace that we expected from those fresh tires. Atkinson has been able to hold that 15 consistent this second run. He's doing a good job right here with 15 to go. Remember, that's still a long time. And Atkinson, you can see a little bit loose under braking right there, but Reynolds lost about a second that last lap. Something must have happened down through the bus stop. You can see the 48 definitely starting to lose some of that pace. Gardner in the 55, also just a little bit slower than Brandon Atkinson. And Atkinson starting to drive off into the sunset here at Watkins Glen. Atkinson, previously a 4-time winner in Leave the Pack competition. He does have Dale Markowski up the road, up in front of him. We've got 8 cars on the lead lap. Make that 9 cars, or 7 cars, sorry. But Atkinson opening up that gap. Now 3 seconds to Tommy Reynolds, and Gardner even starting to lose some time in the 55. Laps to go this time for Brandon Atkinson. Neither Tommy Reynolds or Gavin Gardner able to close any sort of gap. It's going to take a mistake at this point for someone to beat Brandon Atkinson. You can see the 15 just keeping consistent. Did not let Reynolds coming out of the pits during that whole exchange. Didn't let him throw him off his game. And that is why the 15 has been able to pull that gap. You can see Reynolds in the rear view. It's not game over just yet. The 15 loops that car around, drives it off track, something of the sort. Atkinson to the inside of Dale Markowski. Markowski goes 1 lap down. Reynolds now gets around Brandon Elvis in the number 4. Elvis had trouble there. I'm not sure what happened. I lost a little bit of ground. This time by for Brandon Atkinson, though. It'll be 10 to go. Going to see 10 to go this time for Brandon Atkinson, trying to become the first winner in the Leave the Pack iRacing League on a road course. He's got a 4.2 second advantage over Tommy Reynolds right now. Gavin Gardner, sitting in the 3rd spot. Dylan Connor, your points leader, sits in the 5th spot. But Reynolds still unable to cut into any kind of time. It seems like every time he gets a good lap, Atkinson's lap is just a little bit better. He's able to pull away. Gavin Gardner, though, starting to put some better lap times in. He's catching the 48 of Tommy Reynolds. And how about this? Dylan Connor in the number 91. Down pit road. Maybe putting a splash of fuel in there to try and get it to the end. Atkinson, your race leader, has not come to pit road just yet. Jeremiah Woods did come to pit road in the 222 machine. As now Brandon Atkinson will come back to 8 laps to go. Eight to go for Brandon Atkinson. We've got 4 cars on the lead lap. And I'm not so sure if Brandon Atkinson can make it to the end on fuel. We've seen a couple other cars make pit stops here, and look at this. Gavin Gardner brings it pit side as well. I think we're going to see multiple pit stops in this exchange, which is going to give a couple of these drivers another shot at life. It's fuel only. There's only one set of tires. But now Gardner out of the pits. Brandon Atkinson gets around Chris Shepard. And we'll see if Tommy Reynolds in the 48 is maybe saving fuel, perhaps. I don't know. Doesn't seem to be too much fuel saving going on there. As Brandon Atkinson will see 7 laps to go. We'll see if that 15 is able to make it on fuel here. Gavin Gardner came to pit road. And got tires, or got fuel, I should say. Which would make me think that everybody else at the front cannot make it on fuel, but we'll have to see. They're coming back to 6 to go. The gap to Tommy Reynolds is now 6 seconds. Brandon Atkinson continuing to stretch that lead out. But we'll watch down into turns 6 and 7. Does that 15 have any intent to come to pit road? And yes, look at him right there, down pit road. Brandon Atkinson going to bring that 15 down pit road. Now is the point where you cannot speed. Tommy Reynolds going to go another lap in that 48, see if he can't make up some extra time. And have a better pit lap here than Brandon Atkinson. But Atkinson in the 15, he takes tires. That's interesting. He's going to have tires on that race car, and that's going to shake things up because I don't think Reynolds is going to be putting tires on. That's going to make his pit stop faster. They're coming back to 5 laps to go this time. I believe Tommy Reynolds is going to have to pit. Unless he's been saving gas, he may have saved enough fuel. But we're going to find out. There are 5 laps remaining. Bren Roberts in the 17 in the second spot. But this time, Tommy Reynolds going to come back to 5 laps to go. 5 to go this time for Tommy Reynolds. Brandon Atkinson sits 26 seconds behind. And we'll see if Tommy Reynolds ends up bringing that 48 machine to pit road. I mean, I would assume that he has to come to pit road. Everybody else has made... Everybody else that is running at this point, with the exception of 2 drivers, has made 2 pit stops. So you would have to assume that both Tommy Reynolds and Bren Roberts have to bring those machines to pit road. Reynolds going to stay out one more time here. 4 laps to go for the 48. 4 to go for Tommy Reynolds. Trying to pick up victory number 1 in the Lead the Pack iRacing League. But does he have enough fuel? That is going to be the question. He leads by 18.5 seconds over Bren Roberts. If he does end up running out of gas, he may have enough gas in it to coast back if it's on the last lap. Down into turn number 6. They're coming back to 3 to go this time. 3 to go for Tommy Reynolds as he dips through turn number 7. Three to go. Bren Roberts in the 17. We'll see if he stays out. He's out as well. I think Reynolds is going to have enough fuel to make it. Tommy Reynolds through turn number 5, the carousel right there, down into turn 6. And this time by, it will be 2 laps to go. 2 to go for Tommy Reynolds. Trying to pick up the victory here at Watkins Glen International. And the question is, can it be won on fuel mileage here? Reynolds in the 48, hoping to have saved enough gas to have enough to make it back. The sun is starting to set here at Watkins Glen. We have 2 laps to go. Gavin Gardner in the 55 had trouble there in turn number 1. And down into turn number 6. Reynolds through the final corner, going to see the white flag this time. Final lap here for Tommy Reynolds. Does he have enough gas to make it back around? Final lap here for the 48. He's got a 20-second advantage over Bren Roberts. And through the S's for the final time. Full power down the back straightaway. And you can hear Reynolds clutching in that car trying to hold enough gas in it. Elvis in the 4, closing that gap. And Reynolds gonna just coast it down the final couple of straightaways and through the final corners. And for the first time in his Leave the Pack iRacing League career, Tommy Reynolds is going to pick up the victory here at the Watkins Glen International. Second spot will be Bren Roberts when he crosses the line, 21 seconds behind. Here comes he and Brandon Atkinson. But Reynolds able to conserve fuel. And that was what did it there. At the end, Gavin Gardner comes home in the 4th spot. Dylan Connor, the final car on the lead lap, in 5th. He was quite a ways back, just in front of your race leader. But a long race here at the Watkins Glen International. We'll grab a word from our top 3 finishers here. As there's Dylan Connor coming out of the final corner. But how about Tommy Reynolds picking up the victory? And now first, let's talk to our 3rd place finisher here tonight, Brandon Atkinson. Was so close, thought he may have had it. See if we can grab Atkinson up into the broadcast booth here. 3rd place finisher here tonight. So close, thought for a moment there it was going to be the 15 machine. You had a big gap over Tommy Reynolds, but ultimately he was able to save enough gas there and pick up the win.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a fun race, a good switch up there. I'm gonna take it as a win. I just wanted to beat Gavin really. So we beat the regular crew and all that. So we had a good run. Just I was sitting on pit road and I was like, we ain't saving 2 laps. There ain't no way in heck we're saving 2 laps. So I'm just gonna go. So I just went, and about halfway through that first run, I saw Tommy creep back into my view, and I was like, I think he can make it. So it was a fun race, though. But yeah, like I said, I was just going for it. Luckily, we hit the pit stops clean and all that, so we were able to get a 3rd here. So not bad.
Yeah, considering the confidence level you had last night in practice, I'd say this was a pretty good race for that 15 machine. P3 led some laps up at the front too. I don't think you really made any mistakes here tonight. So it was an all in all good night for the 15. Just got beat on the pit strategy, but better than wrecking out, better than having XYZ happen to you, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it was a good race. Of course, a few small mistakes, and I just zone out on these road courses or whatever and don't push as hard as I could, I feel like. But no, it was fun, and just got to thank UWD for putting the series on and broadcasting it for us. And good win to Tommy and good run to Bren there. I was hoping to catch him, but just a little bit short. And as usual, thanks everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, good run to you here, Brandon, on your P3 at the Glen, and we wish you luck next week.
Hopefully see you on Thursday.
Yes, sir. Hopefully we're talking to you in Victory Lane.
Hopefully. See you, man.
Yep. All right, now we'll talk to our 2nd place finisher who had another good run on fuel. He was able to save enough gas to make it at the end. Bren Roberts up in the broadcast booth, 2nd place finish in your Leave the Pack debut. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Alrighty, well, that was a pretty fun one at the Watkins Glen International. We're able to, you and Tommy Reynolds were able to save enough gas there at the end, and I think Dale Markowski as well made it on one pit stop What was the key to saving enough gas to make it at the end? I think Brandon Atkinson told me he had to save a whole 2 laps. So what was the trick?
For me, it was just lifting really early down in the corners and trying not to rev out the car. I was just telling Tommy, I thought I saved too much on the first run. I came out of the pits and I thought I was way to the good. And that last run there, I still had to save a little bit, about half a lap. So it was definitely an aggressive fuel save, but one that worked out in the end.
Yeah, you guys definitely found the winning strategy here tonight. When I saw everybody coming down pit road, I didn't entirely know. I didn't expect the second pit stop, and kind of threw me off guard. And I was anticipating you and Tommy both coming down pit road, but you guys both were able to save enough gas and get yourselves. You got the win. You got second place here tonight, so it was a great night for you. Who do you have to thank for P2 and your Leave the Pack opener?
Yeah, thanks to you for letting me race tonight and broadcasting. Thanks to Tommy, Dale, and Jeremy, all the guys who I was racing with tonight. Unfortunately, Jeremy got caught up in a first lap incident, I believe. So thanks to all those guys, and thanks to you for the broadcast.
Alrighty, well, congratulations to you, Bren, on your second place finish here tonight, and hopefully we can see you back with the Leave the Pack Grand National Series.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, now we're going to talk to our winner here tonight. Kind of put the smackdown on him at the end. It was 21 seconds at the line. Winner up in the broadcast booth, Tommy Reynolds. You get a copy.
I gotcha.
All righty, well, kind of like I said there, put the smackdown on him right at the end of the race there. You were able to save enough gas to make it on one stop, and the rest of the field, with the exception of a couple, were not, and that was the winning ticket here tonight. I talked to Bren about his tricks to fuel saving. What was your hidden trick here tonight?
Yeah, me and Bren were actually in the same chat most of the race. So I kind of told him, I'm like, hey, I think this is a one stop. So he was actually saving better than I was the first stint. He was clutching and coasting down the backstretch, and I was only lifting, and I only started lifting about 10 laps into the run. So he had a lot more fuel than I did. But that second run, we had to save. It was technically an extra lap because of going over 40. It was 41. So yeah, that was kind of the trick there. And I started doing what he was doing. I was clutching and coasting right after the DRS sign on the backstretch. So basically, the entire backstretch, I was lifting and coasting.
Yeah, and I did not expect the 2-stop strategy to take place. I didn't expect everybody to start coming down to pit road. So when I saw you start dropping back, I thought maybe you just lost pace. I thought maybe there was the towel had been thrown. There was no more. That was the end of the race. But no, there was something up your sleeve, and ultimately it was what got you the victory here tonight. So great job on pit road. As an iRacer, you have to do both the driving part and then also the math as the crew chief too. So kind of have to do both roles, and you did a great job tonight doing both roles, and that's what got you the victory. So who do you have to thank for your first victory in the Leave the Pack iRacing League?
I have to thank Gavin Gardner for the shout out for foreshadowing it beforehand. So that's always great. But besides that, I got nobody but myself. I was a little worried there when Brandon crept away, but other than that, good racing. Awesome broadcast. I rewatched it last week after I was done, and yeah, you guys do an awesome job. So,
alrighty, well, thank you for that, and we wish you luck in the next Leave the Pack Grand National race. Hopefully, you can maybe go back-to-back. That'd be pretty cool. I don't think we've had a back-to-back winner in the ARCA series, so we wish you luck. Congratulations one more time.
I would love to do it.
Yeah, where do we even go? Let me get that up while I'm thinking of it. As the league owner, I probably should know where we head. Rockingham for 75 laps. Have you ever been to the high banks of Rockingham?
Yeah, that's not a personal favorite. I'll say that much.
Alrighty, well, maybe this will be your good luck that you need heading into Rockingham, and you can have a good run there. But nonetheless, one more time, congratulations, Tommy, on your win here tonight.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. All right, that was your winner. Tommy Reynolds was able to save enough fuel and get it done at the end. Did not think that race was going to come down to fuel strategy. I kind of jokingly said something before the race in the driver's meeting about somebody winning on fuel strategy. Not Tommy Reynolds, but there was another driver, and sure enough, the race was won on fuel strategy, so that's pretty cool. Reynolds was able to pick up the victory. And let's look at our finishing results here. Get them up on screen for you guys. Your winner, Tommy Reynolds, in the number 48. Bren Roberts comes home second in the 17. Brandon Atkinson third. Gavin Gardner fourth. Dylan Connor fifth. Brian Gravel comes home sixth. Dale Markowski seventh. Jeremiah Woods eighth. Zach Murphy 9th. Justin Coleman 10th. Brandon Elvis 11th. Chris Shepard 12th. Connor Knowlton 13th. Adam Fulford 14th. Stephen Choate 15th. Carter Hollingsworth 16th. Kyle St. Jean 17th. Jeremy Brolt 18th. Logan Drumheller rounds out the field. That'll do it for the WD Broadcasting Network tonight, folks. Thank you guys for watching. Bit of a change in scenery here at the Watkins Glen International, but a fun race nonetheless, and I think it ended up going right down to the wire there. So congratulations to Tommy Reynolds on his victory, and then we will see you guys Thursday night for the Trackmaster Sim Series race at Lanier. You guys will not want to miss that one. It's going to be a fun season championship. So see you guys Thursday. I am your host, Winston Deal, signing it off from the WD Broadcasting Network. Follow on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram for more iRacing content. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out.